Welcome to an all-new Downright Sports. I am your host, the Notorious Sports Critic, back again. I did a pop-up show on Sunday that I couldn't put out until yesterday. And I'll go more in details of that in a second. But if this is the first time you're ever watching, listening, or hearing my voice, welcome to Downright Sports. It is a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan, and it's a show basically that makes no sense. But it's here, and we do it what we do. It's live. I mean, live. You can listen to it on DJ Chase Radio, and download it now once again on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcast. So yeah, sorry, the bloom is starting to kick in because I needed it. I side note. So normally when I do the show, my wife cooks dinner every night. Normally when I go to do the show, I don't eat before the show because I will become tired. And I wanted to eat dinner because I was hungry, so we ate dinner. And I came back in to finish prepping the show, and I'm telling you, I was hitting that wall, and I just hit that bloom. And boy, oh boy, when it kicks in, we're going to take this show from here. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, from here. If you're listening on the radio, I'm at an even pace. And what's going to happen is we're going to gradually go up. And we're going to maintain the altitude, and then skyrocket that flight, afternoon to night. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. So welcome everybody to the show. It's another episode. Episode 8 for this season. Yeah, episode 8 for season 10. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but the show actually got taken down by Spotify for past episodes. What does that mean, Brent? So, if you listen to the show in the last year, you notice, especially if you download the podcast, you will notice there's something very different. There's no music. The thing that always made this show work was the music broke up the monotony and listening to me ramble on, boom, 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 and you got music. Well, Spotify decided, like, well, we're not going to let you do that no more. So thus, I had to take the music off. And then they started going back through the archives, moving past shows that had music on it. So it got to the point where basically the show got taken off. And when I did the pop-up show the other day, I didn't realize it because I didn't get a notification or nothing. And I'm like, what the heck has happened? Because the show is on a radio station. It was on multiple radio stations before it just became the exclusive show for DJ Chase Radio. And like, we could play music on there, and I'm uploading that. But I digress. If you love music and you want to hear music, go to jump on DJ Chase Radio and listen to the show there, and you will get music. For example, today started the show off with a little bit of Thunder Road by Bruce Springsteen. So today's gonna be a little all over the place, music wise. We'll find the rhythm again and what to listen to. All right. Now that I've rambled to give myself enough time to cover, or I didn't want to. You gotta stretch. That's the thing. You gotta stretch sometimes. Pause. You gotta. When you don't know what to talk about, or you don't know if you got enough material, you stretch it out. All right, you got to stretch it out. So, the New York Giants finally got their head out the sand and made a decision, and that decision was to fire head coach. I don't know what his name was. Bill, whatever his name was. Brian Daboll. I was killing time. Brian Daboll has finally been let go by the New York Giants. Daboll basically was brought to the team to help at the time Daniel Jones become the next Josh Allen, because they thought, Jones at Duke, he had that running and that ability to run and throw, and he did none of those things. He did none of those things as a Giant, but now he's a cult. He seems to be flourishing as a Colt, which honestly, after the Colts went 5-0, I would have fired Brian Daboll the next day, because don't forget the Giants cut Daniel Jones because they didn't think he could hack it. They felt Daniel Jones couldn't do it. They thought he was trash, and they stuck for some strange reason. They just hung in there and stuck with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's only head coaching job was with the Giants. He was the offensive coordinator with the Bills, as the Bills was having success with Josh Allen and, chopping it up and doing what they do. So, imitation is the best part of flattery. And the Giants was like, well, the best part of Buffalo is their offensive coordinator. Let's get him. So Daboll goes and joins the Giants. And his career numbers with the Giants is 20-40. That ain't good. That ain't even close to 500. And somehow, every year, the man with the horseshoe in his shoe just kept keeping a job. Daboll joined the Giants in 2020. His first season, he went 9-7 with a tie. They made it to the playoffs, where they would lose to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. That was it. After that, 6-11, not good. 3-14, definitely not good. And before fired, 2-8. The reason why he got fired is because the Giants have had a string of games where they were on the verge of winning and just blew it at the end. Well, the head coach is for the hell it ain't. Okay? Daboll, I'm sure, is a fine, had a tickle in my throat, and I don't want to keep coughing through this segment. I'm sure Daboll is a fine coordinator. Not all coordinators make good head coaches. And in this case, the Giants were hanging on for nothing. But for some reason in New York, it's become, unless you play for the Jets or the Mets, or you're the Knicks and you make stupid decisions like fire your coach that got you to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2001 or something like that, 2004, some crazy notion, over 20. Where'd that come from? Over 20 years. I got a hiccup out of nowhere. Did you guys hear that? Sounded like somebody stopped the break. I digress. The Giants kept Daboll despite he showed no promise. Damn it, where is that coming from? No promise and no signs of getting better. I'm going to have to hold my breath in a second because I got the hiccups. And it's that bloom kicking in. Timing is everything, kids. So, what now? Before we get there, I jumped ahead of my script. Let's look at the mess the Giants have been in, all right? If you pay attention to the Giants' history, they've had over 24 head coaches. One of their most successful head coaches, without a question, is Bill Parcells, who was there from 83 to 90. He won 2 Super Bowls. He had a record of 127-77. Then they had a couple other good coaches in there. Jeff Fisher took them to the Super Bowl where they got blew out by the Ravens. But after Jeff Fisher came in Tom Collins. Collins was able, they at that time, Collins and Eli merged together and they forged a team. They had success. Collins' time with the Giants spent over 11 years. He went 192 and 102 with 2 Super Bowls. And then Collins was let go. Since Collins, in his 11 years, the Giants have hired, are you ready? 5 head coaches the next 11 years. There's no stability there. Now, granted, every coach they've hired has been trash, so they don't deserve to stay there. And it hasn't gotten better. The Giants haven't taken the time to find a coach that could create a program. Trigger word. There's a system, and then there's a program. All right? In sports or in anything, you need to create a system that is your program. Which means, if you remember when Collins joined the Giants, there was stuff like, if you were 5 minutes early, you were late. That is a program. We haven't heard anything like that in the case of the Giants. Whether it's the next head coach of this team either has to be a guy or girl that can come in and establish order. You establish a pecking order. I am the coach. Here are the orders. You show up this. You do that. We wear this. We wear that. We do this. We do that. I don't know much. This is just me being a fan. But it seems like on top of that, the Giants cannot figure out their identity. They want to be this offensive powerhouse. That is not the Giants' formula to winning. The Giants have four Super Bowl championships, okay? Each of those championships, the formula to them was not because they had John Elway or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, all right? They had good quarterbacks at average, in Eli's case, an above average who should be in the Hall of Fame quarterback, but it was their defenses. Their defenses were their cornerstones of the Giants. Just like the Steelers, just like the Ravens, it's defenses for the Giants that have won them, have maintained success for them. All right? The Giants have not devoted much attention to their defensive any. And I know. Oh my God, they're probably going to have to hire a defensive coach now. No, don't do that. You should have a guy that's a little more defensive focused and let your coordinator kind of run things. But the Giants, in a lot of cases, have not figured out exactly how they want to run their program or their organization. And there's a such thing. On some realness, there's a such thing as too much from the ownership. Bro, I get it. It's your money. You feel me? It's your ducats. It's your coinage. You want some say in the matter. But your say should be, look, the GM, the coach, you go do this thing. I'm going to give you the checkbook, and I'm going to let you guys rock. But you also need guys that are obsessed. Because that's the thing in football. You need obsession. And then, quite frankly, any coach, manager, owner, whatever, that is not obsessed with taking whatever it's doing to the next step, you don't want them in the building. You want people that don't sleep, people who eat this thing, people who drive this thing. Because right now, you had one coach for 5 years, and now you had one coach for 11 years, and now you've had 5 coaches in 11 years. And I'm going to be real. I heard something on ESPN. They was like, they shouldn't have fired Daboll. Why? In what world did his record mean he should have gotten another crack? Why? Because Dart looked good with him? I think Dart would look good with anybody. And guess what? They didn't win when Dart was looking good. They didn't win when Dart and Skitterboom was looking good. They were still losing. So why are you keeping him? We don't argue with dumb stuff, okay? We don't make sense out of dumbness. We make sense where sense needs to be made. And Daboll at 2-8 made no sense. Now, the $1 million question is, who should the Giants hire next? Well, one of the names floated out there was John Gruden, which made me go, what? And why? 20 years ago, John Gruden was one of the sexiest coaches in the game. Not for looks, obviously, but because he was the coach's coach. John Gruden gets on TV, does Monday Night Football for a couple years after getting fired in Tampa Bay for only making it to the Super Bowl once and then having a bunch of mediocre seasons after that because he became more of a caricature than a head coach. But somehow television made us believe that Gruden was the guy to run everything. Gruden eventually was hired back by the Raiders, which made everybody, including my Uncle Timmy, ecstatic. John Gruden is back. The Gruden man is back. Super Bowls and caviar dreams and champagne is on the way. Well, not so fast. Gruden was eventually let go because of some weird scandal that had something to do with the Washington Commanders and their former general manager and a text thread. It got weird, and quite frankly, I don't care. All right? John Gruden's last year with the the Las Vegas Raiders. Can you believe they've been in Vegas for quite a while now? They've been in Vegas since 2000. That's freaking nuts. Okay. Gruden returned to the Raiders in 2000. They've been there since 2020. Excuse me, people. Uh, he went 8-8. He went 8-8. In 2021, when he resigned, he went 3-2. I mean, that ain't bad. But people said you had to give him more time. I'm not sure about that. Gruden actually, are you ready? Rejoined the Raiders, and I'm getting my notes together. He rejoined the Raiders in 2018, where he went 4-12. In 2019, he went 7-9, and in 2020, like I said, 8-8. He wasn't getting better. Let me just be clear. When he joined Tampa, he went 12-4. He won the Super Bowl. The next year, he went 7-9. The next year, he went 5-11. The next year, he went 11-5. Yay! Then they lost to the Washington Commanders in the wild card round. After that, he went 4-12. After that, he went 9-7. After that, he went 9-7. I'm not the best to break it all down, but I'm not sure where he became Vince Lombardi. I'm not even sure where he became a poor man's. He used to coach San Diego. Can't think of his name right now, but it's regardless. John Gruden is a figurehead and a talking head, and quite frankly, I don't even know if he should be on TV. He's becoming more of this John Gruden, what makes John Gruden great is he's convinced people because he sounds confident when he talks, which is, half the battle in convincing people. But this notion of your quarterback needs to be able to throw the ball down the field. I know what I'm talking about. I coach the best quarterbacks out there. I know what a quarterback can do. You don't just throw a screen all the time. You got to throw a button hook down the field. You got to get the ball down the field. All right. Great analogy, John. That is amazing work. I commend you for that. Giants hiring John Gruden will be for only one thing, to get headlines, quite frankly. In my opinion, Rex Ryan should be a head coach in the league. And if I was the Giants, I would hire Rex Ryan tomorrow. Why? Well, let me explain. In fact, if I was the Giants, I would pull a George Steinbrenner, announce today that the new head coach of the New York Giants, starting in 2026, is Rex Ryan. Why? 2 reasons. One, Jackson Dart and Skitterboom are 2 people made for Rex Ryan. And number 2, Rex Ryan does know how to coach a defense. Despite what you may think, Rex Ryan is the last bit of success the New York Jets have ever seen. It's facts. And Rex Ryan wasn't half bad with the Bills, all right? Rex Ryan just became more of a personnel on TV. But I believe if you give Rex Ryan an opportunity to take that Giants team in the city he understands, in a stadium he understands, with a press he understands, with 2 YN players in Dart and Skitterboom, boy, oh boy, you got yourself a team. If anything, for a year, 2 years, you'll have success because Ryan can coach them up. Rex Ryan, in my opinion, is an underrated coach, and he was just with a bad organization in the New York Football Jets who don't invest in anything outside of themselves and hype you up and make you think they're going to do something the same way the Mets do. But the Giants have shown success. And the Giants have shown they're willing to spend a little to make a little. And if they let Ryan come coach them, let me give you an idea. Rex Ryan with the Jets, 2009, he went 9-7. 2010, he went 11-5. 2011, he went 8-8, and then 6-10, 8-8, 4-6. So his last few years they stumbled, but that's because Mark Sanchez kind of crapped the bed. And then with Buffalo, 8-8, 7-8. And this is pre-Josh Allen Buffalo. Whoa, what just happened? Whoa, what just happened? Whoa. What's the last thing I said? All right, audio. There was an audio problem, which is good because I was supposed to stop the segment anyway. If I'm the Giants, honestly, I'm higher on Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's record overall 61-66. It's not the worst in the world, but it's damn sure better than Brian Daboll. Just saying. All right, let's wrap this up. All right, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, we thank you and I appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. When we return in the next segment, we're going to talk Lakers. That's right, kids. We're going to talk them Lakers, or as I now call them, the Los Angeles Lucas. That's right. There's a new LAA. LAL. Yeah, LAL in LA. LA. All right. If you like listening to the show, follow and like us on all social media platforms. Listen and download the show on download the DJ Chase Radio podcast. And now you can download the podcast again, as I have to upload it again because whatever. I don't get it. Anyway, we'll be right back with more Downright Sports. Doom doom doom.